Hey, how's it going? My name's Nat. Coming up on Newsbreak, we check out this year's ARIA Awards, why these bats are getting sprinklers, and how's this for an epic jump? But before we get into that, why don't you hit that subscribe button? Why not? Australian music's Night of Nights, the ARIAS, looked a little different this year. And no, not just because of COVID. Joe took a look at the event's biggest moments.
Where else would you host an awards show other than Sydney's Taronga Zoo? And before you ask, yes, I am actually here. Don't question it, it's the 35th ARIAS.
The ceremony's a lot less virtual than others we've seen since the pandemic, and artists were here for it.
Oh, I think it's amazing. It's a bit surreal, but I'm loving it.
It's pretty surreal. It's pretty surreal to be here.
It sure is, because I'm definitely here.
But it's still been a tough year for many who haven't been able to perform in front of live crowds. The awards were different for another reason though. For the first time, there weren't any gendered categories, in an attempt to make the competition more inclusive.
So let's go find out who won what.
Well, the undisputed king of the night was...
Genesis Uwusu, the smiling with no teeth!
Genesis Uwusu!
Genesis Uwusu!
He took home 4 awards, including Album of the Year, Best Hip Hop Release, Best Independent Release, and Best Cover Art. Best Artist went to the Kid Laroi, who had a huge year on the global stage with his song Stay.
It's incredible that I'm getting this much love, especially from home. You know, that means the world to me.
Ed Sheeran presented 19-year-old Budjerah with the award for Breakthrough Artist, and he was pretty happy about it.
Oh, I didn't expect to cry, but I'm crying.
And there were plenty of live acts to top it all off.
Back to the studio.
NASA's asteroid-destroying mission is successfully on its way. Last night, the Double Asteroid Redirection Test Spacecraft, or DART, separated from the SpaceX rocket that carried it into space. But we won't be giving you another update for a while. The asteroid's 11 million Ks away and will take 10 months to reach. It's been a bit of a wet week for Eastern Australia, but I promise summer is coming. And for some of our native animals, it presents some unique problems that require some creative solutions. Here's Charlie.
While it might look like these bats are just hanging out, they're actually trying to keep cool. Yep, turns out these not-so-little guys hate being hot as much as the rest of us, but probably wouldn't be allowed at the public pool, mostly because of the bat thing. But they're now experiencing the next best thing. Sprinklers!
The use of sprinklers to cool the microclimate and save flying foxes on extreme heat days is very new technology.
Grey-headed flying foxes are a type of megabat. This basically means they're big and also a bat. In recent years, this colony in Western Sydney has been struggling in the heat. Some have died, and experts say climate change is making the situation worse. This system has been set up just for them, and while it won't solve everything, it could make a big difference to saving this bat population. Hang in there, pals.
Now, before we go, let's check out the latest in sport. 18-year-old Jason Horne-Francis is this year's #1 AFL draft pick. He was selected by the North Melbourne Kangaroos and is the first South Aussie to go #1 since 2006. Sons of Guns Sam Darcy and Nick Dacos both followed in their father's footsteps, going to the Bulldogs and Collingwood respectively. Adelaide Strikers spinner Amanda Jade Wellington bowled her team to a crushing 8-wicket win over the Brisbane Heat. She pulled off an incredible 5 for 8 from her 4 overs, a WBBL record. The Strikers ended up cruising to victory with 21 balls to spare. And finally, to a man on a bike, in a shipping container. And off he goes. Luke Ackermann is a German FMX rider who's determined to make history with a bunch of freestyle motocross tricks he says are world firsts.
So tricks like jumping from one boat to another are really difficult because you are not able to practice them at home. So you always need to imagine what's gonna happen before you're doing this trick.
That was epic. Well, that's all the news we've got for you today. In the meantime, don't forget you can hit subscribe, stay up to date with us because we'll be back tomorrow. See you then.